The silver screen, a historical journey through the world's film industries. The flickering magic of cinema, born in the late 19th century, has grown into a global cultural and economic powerhouse. While often synonymous with Hollywood, the film industry is a tapestry of distinct national cinemas, each with its own history, aesthetic, and economic model. This exploration traces the evolution of the medium and the facts behind the world's most influential film industries. The birth of an art form. The silent era, 1890s-1920s. The story begins not in a single location but across Europe and America with pioneers like the Lumiere brothers in France, who held the first public film screening in 1895, and Georges Méliès, who unlocked cinema's potential for fantasy and narrative. Early film was a novelty, a technological spectacle. The industry quickly formalized, however, with the rise of studios, star systems, and feature-length films. In this era, national cineries flourished distinctly. In the United States, the foundation of Hollywood was laid as independent producers fled Thomas Edison's restrictive patents on the East Coast, settling in Southern California. Studios like Paramount, Warner Bros., and MGM established the vertically integrated studio system. Germany. German expressionism emerged, using distorted sets, sharp shadows, and psychological themes to create masterpieces like The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, 1920, and Metropolis, 1927. Soviet Union pioneers like Sergei Eisenstein developed montage theory, using rapid ideological editing as seen in Battleship Potemkin, 1925, to powerful emotional and political effect. India. Dad Saheb Phalke, the father of Indian cinema, released Raja Harishchandra, 1913, laying the groundwork for a massive domestic industry. The golden age of Hollywood and global upheaval, 1930s. The introduction of synchronized sound in the late 1920s, the talkies revolutionized cinema, cementing Hollywood's global dominance. The 1930s to 1950s became its golden age. The studio system reached its zenith, controlling every aspect of production, distribution, and exhibition. Genres like musicals, film noir, and westerns were refined. This era produced iconic stars, Gable, Hepburn, Bogart, Monroe, and legendary filmmakers like John Ford and Alfred Hitchcock. Meanwhile, World War II had a cataclysmic impact. Europe. Many film industries were devastated or co-opted for propaganda. Post-war movements like Italian neorealism, bicycle thieves, 1948 arose, using non-professional actors and on-location shooting to depict stark social realities. Japan. Despite wartime censorship, masters like Akira Kurosawa, Rashomon, 1950, and Yasujiro Ozu emerged post-war, profoundly influencing global cinema. India. The studio era gave rise to the first major stars and the formalization of the masala film, a mix of romance, action, drama, and music, a formula that defines mainstream Bollywood to this day. New waves and blockbuster revolutions, 1960s. The 1960s saw a rebellion against established forms. From France, the Nouvelle Vague d'Art. Truffaut broke conventions with jump cuts, existential themes, and location shooting. Similar movements erupted worldwide. New German cinema, Czechoslovak, New Wave, and Brazilian cinema novo. These movements emphasized directorial vision, the auteur, and social commentary. Hollywood's old studio system crumbled under changing tastes and antitrust rulings. Its salvation came in two forms. The blockbuster, Steven Spielberg's Jaws, 1975, and George Lucas's Star Wars, 1977, pioneered the ICE concept, high-stakes, wide-release summer event film, fueled by massive marketing and merchandising. The rise of the multiplex, changing exhibition models, increased screen counts, prioritizing blockbusters. This period also saw the solidification of other major film hubs. Bollywood. India. Color film and improved sound technology made the Hindi film industry a national unifier and a cultural export. It became the world's most prolific producer of films, centered in Mumbai. Nollywood. Nigeria. Emerging in the 1990s with the advent of accessible video technology, Nigeria created a unique, rapid production direct-to-video industry. It quickly became the second-largest film producer by volume, telling hyperlocal stories for African audiences. The modern era, digital disruption and global flows to thousands present. The last quarter century has been defined by digital technology, globalization, and the streaming revolution. The CGI paradigm, computer-generated imagery, transformed what stories could be told, dominating genres like fantasy and superhero films. Hollywood's reliance on franchise tentpoles, Marvel, DC, Disney, intensified. Globalization. Hollywood's reach became truly ubiquitous, but other industries also expanded their influence. South Korean cinema, fueled by government support and directorial brilliance, Bong Joon-ho, Park Chan-wook became a critical and commercial powerhouse, culminating in Parasite 2019 winning the Best Picture Oscar. The streaming wars. Platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus have upended traditional distribution. They have created a demand for vast content libraries, financing films worldwide, for example. Netflix's investments in Indian and Korean content while challenging theatrical exclusivity. This has created new opportunities for international shows and films to find global audiences overnight. Key facts and figures of the contemporary landscape. Volume. India remains the largest producer by number of films, 1,500 to 2,000 annually across all languages, with Nollywood close behind. The US produces roughly 700 to 800 major studio and independent films per year. Box office. The global box office is worth over $40 billion annually in a pre-pandemic year. The US and Canada market is the largest single territory, followed closely by China, which has built a massive theatrical market protected by import quotas. Cultural reach. Hollywood is the most globally dominant in terms of revenue and recognition. Bollywood has a vast diaspora audience across the Middle East, Africa, and Southeast Asia. Nollywood dominates Africa. Korean content has unprecedented global penetration. Economic models. Hollywood relies on global box office and ancillary streaming merchandising. Bollywood and Nollywood have historically been more dependent on domestic theatrical television rights, and, for Nollywood, direct sales of DVDs, VCDs now transitioning to streaming. Conclusion. The history of film is a history of technological innovation, artistic rebellion, and economic adaptation, from the silent experiments in Paris to the star factories of Hollywood. From the poetic realism of Japan to the vibrant song and dance of India and the gritty narratives of Nigeria. Each industry reflects and shapes its cultural context. Today, as streaming services dissolve geographical barriers, the future lies in a complex, interconnected ecosystem where local stories find global audiences, and the very definition of cinema continues to evolve. The silver screen's light, now often viewed on a handheld device, continues to flicker with the power to reflect, challenge, and unite humanity.